Under the flashing glare of Atlanta's nightlife, the air felt thick with the kind of tension that only comes before a storm nobody is ready for. What had started as subtle whispers and unconfirmed sightings was now threatening to become the kind of televised detonation that could blow apart friendships, ruin reputations, and stain every contract in the love and hip-hop universe. At the center of this boiling scandal stood Lil Scrappy, the charming but unpredictable rapper whose romantic history had already left a trail of very public wreckage. And caught in this tangled web was Kendra, not just any cast member, but the fiancé of his own close friend, young Jock. For weeks, the talk around set had been the same. A too-long hug here, an inside joke there, late-night run-ins in the same corner of town. Every time someone asked, it was brushed off as coincidence. But last night, those harmless coincidences grew teeth. Gossip mutated into something dangerous, something undeniable. And when the cameras caught it, the crew froze like prey spotting a predator. The producers panicked behind the scenes, and Jock's fury lit up the room like a fuse burning toward dynamite. The day had started as just another tightly choreographed filming schedule. The set hummed with the usual chaos. Camera operators adjusting angles, stylists darting between cast members with last-minute touch-ups, producers barking instructions into headsets. The scene was meant to be light-hearted, a lounge celebration to close out an exhausting storyline. But as soon as Scrappy walked in wearing a crisp designer hoodie and gold chains catching the light, there was something in his body language that didn't match the party's energy. He was too calm, too detached. His eyes stayed locked on his phone, scrolling, barely acknowledging anyone. Across the room, Kendra was mid-touch-up with her makeup artist, her laugh floating above the music like she didn't have a care in the world. But people had been watching. They'd noticed the banter between her and Scrappy had shifted over the past month, evolving from playful to charged, laced with glances that lingered too long and conversations that had nothing to do with filming. Then, a paparazzi photo sealed the whispers into suspicion. The two of them at a dimly lit Buckhead restaurant, leaning close, her hand grazing his arm. The kind of smile no friend should be wearing. When the blogs ran the shot with headlines screaming that Kendra was caught getting cozy while Jock was kept in the dark, the production team braced themselves. Since then, Jock had kept his composure on camera. He'd smiled through scenes, laughed where he was supposed to, never giving away the simmer beneath the surface. But the set felt like it was sitting on a landmine. And tonight was the night someone stepped on it. The lounge was alive with staged celebration, glasses clinking, music pulsing, background extras pretending to be lost in their own good time. Then Kendra walked straight toward Scrappy's corner table without even glancing at her fiancé. She leaned down, whispered something in his ear, and he laughed, resting his hand briefly on her knee. It lasted seconds, but seconds were enough for Jock, sitting across the room, to see it all. His smile vanished, his jaw locked. A cameraman caught the change and zoomed in, instinctively sensing the spark that was about to hit dry timber. The crowd seemed to part as Jock rose from his seat, the sound of his chair scraping across the floor cutting through the music. He walked toward them slowly, deliberately, tension radiating off him. "Yo," he said, voice low but carrying an edge sharp enough to cut. "Tell me you didn't just do that." Scrappy glanced up, wearing a mask of confusion. "Man, you trippin'. Ain't nothing going on." But Jock's stare didn't waver. "Don't play with me." Kendra tried to speak, but Jock silenced her with a raised hand, eyes locked on Scrappy. The music felt quieter. Even the extras had stopped moving. Somewhere, a producer's voice hissed into a headset, "Keep rolling. This is gold." Then Jock reached forward, grabbing Scrappy's phone off the table in one clean motion. "Let's see what you've been texting her." The gasp from the crew was audible. Scrappy lunged, yanking the phone back. But not before Jock's eyes had flickered across the screen, just long enough to land on one sentence that would detonate everything. "Kendra, last night was crazy." The words rang in his head like a gunshot. Kendra's face went pale, her voice catching, but the moment was already slipping out of their control. An anonymous Instagram account dropped screenshots allegedly from their DMs. One showed Scrappy writing, "Can't stop thinking about you. Last night was everything." Another had Kendra replying, "You know we can't get caught. Jock can never find out." Whether real or fabricated didn't matter. The internet had made up its mind. The posts were shared tens of thousands of times in under an hour. Fans swarmed Jock's comment section with demands to expose them both and messages like, "You deserve better." Back in the lounge, Jock was pacing like a man locked in a cage. "You think I'm stupid?" he barked at Scrappy. "You think I don't see what's been going on?" Scrappy leaned back, smirking, the kind of smirk that could light a fuse. Man, you letting the blogs mess with your head. That smirk was gasoline, and Jock ignited. He lunged, and for a moment it looked like the set was about to turn into a full-blown fight. Security moved fast, shoving them apart. Kendra stayed frozen, her eyes darting between them, lips trembling like she had something to say but no safe way to say it. The producers huddled, torn between stepping in and letting the chaos play out. Then Jock's voice dropped to something quieter but infinitely more dangerous.
You think I only saw your texts? Wait until you hear what your driver told me.
The words hit the room like another crack of thunder. Scrappy's smirk faltered just enough for everyone to see it.
Kendra's fingers tightened around her champagne glass until her knuckles whitened.
You're talking nonsense,
Scrappy snapped, but Jock didn't blink.
Your driver, he repeated, slow and deliberate. The one who picked you up after the club last week. Yeah, he told me exactly who was in that back seat with you.
And it wasn't just some random friend.
The murmur from the crew was almost a wave. That's not true, Jock. You're acting crazy, Kendra said, defensive and shaking. He spun on her, every letter of his words sharp.
I see why.
I've been watching you giggle and whisper like teenagers, telling myself I'm just paranoid.
But now?
Now I've got people bringing me receipts. You scared of the truth, Kendra?
Or just scared it's finally coming out?
Cameras kept rolling. Even the crew who should have cut away couldn't look away. And then, as if the drama had an invisible director, Jock's phone buzzed. He looked down, a slow, dangerous smile spreading across his face. Guess what? He said, locking eyes with Scrappy. The blogs just got the security footage. Scrappy's brow furrowed, the casual defiance in his posture starting to crack. What footage? He asked, the question sharp but with a sliver of unease threading through. Jock didn't answer right away. Instead he pulled his phone from his pocket, turning the screen so the glow lit his face like a prosecutor. On it was a grainy black and white clip, the timestamp in the corner matching the night in question. The angle came from an alley camera behind a well-known Atlanta lounge, one of the cast's regular haunts.
And the SUV door shut before pulling away into the night.
It was only 15 seconds long, but 15 seconds was all it took for the entire set to feel the air change. Where the hell did you get that? Scrappy demanded, his voice louder now, no longer able to keep the edge from creeping in.
Doesn't matter, Jock shot back.
What matters is the whole world's about to see it.
And he wasn't bluffing.
Within minutes, LHH Insider T posted the clip with a caption that cut like a knife. We told y'all something was up.
Here's the proof.
The hashtags lit up, #Kendra and Scrappy, #Jock loses it, #LHH affair, and the comment section became a battlefield. Fans dissected the footage, freeze-framing every angle, pointing out the nervous glance Kendra gave before getting in the car.
Some accused her of betrayal.
Others defended her, saying it could all be clever editing. But on set, perception had already hardened. It isn't what it looks like, Kendra said, her voice shaky but trying to carry authority.
Jock let out a short, humorless laugh.
Sweetheart, that's exactly what it looks like.
And it's not just me saying it.
You've got fans out there right now digging through every post, every comment, every little thing you've ever done.
The line hit harder than she wanted to admit.
Scrappy stepped forward, closing the gap between himself and Jock, his voice dropping to something dark. You need to back the hell up before you say something you regret. Jock didn't flinch.
Regret? Nah, I'm just getting started. You wanna play games?
Then tell everyone about that weekend in Miami. Weekend in Miami.
Kendra's head snapped toward him. Scrappy's confusion was instant.
What weekend in Miami? The smirk that spread across Jock's face was the kind of smirk that meant he'd been waiting to drop this for weeks.
So, he doesn't know. Interesting.
Maybe you should be the one to tell him.
Or maybe I should.
Her silence was answer enough, and Jock took the opening. Miami, 2 months ago. Poolside at the Fontainebleau Hotel, late-night champagne, and a certain producer from the show.
The room collectively inhaled.
Even the camera operators froze, torn between doing their job and reacting like everyone else. You hooked up with a producer.
Scrappy's voice was low but dangerous.
Kendra's lips parted, but Jock was already swiping through his phone, revealing a series of grainy, badly lit images, her glittering dress catching a light, sitting in a private cabana with a man whose arm draped casually over her shoulders. Another shot showed them entering a hotel elevator at nearly 3 a.m. It wasn't what it looked like, Kendra started. Jock cut her off with a bitter laugh. That's becoming your favorite line. Before the tension could snap, Kendra's phone buzzed.
She glanced down, her face draining as she opened a new message.
This one had an attachment, a shaky clip of her and Scrappy in what was unmistakably her apartment, drinks in hand, laughing, their bodies close enough to erase any doubt. The timestamp was only 3 weeks old. Scrappy's muttered curse was almost drowned out by Kendra's whisper, "They have everything."
Who's they? Jock demanded, his tone sharp and insistent. Kendra swallowed hard. The message said, "We. I think it's someone from the crew." Those words sent a ripple through the room. Crew members shifted, some glancing at each other with guarded eyes. The idea that an insider was behind the leaks was worse than any blog or fan theory. "If someone's blackmailing you, you need to say it now," Scrappy pressed, his voice tight. But before she could answer, Jock's phone buzzed again. This time, the post wasn't aimed at her. LHH Insider T had uploaded a grainy, dimly lit video clip labeled exclusive. "You think the affair is the only secret? Wait until you hear what Jock's been hiding." The teaser showed him in a darkened room speaking to someone off camera. "If this gets out, I'm done." The clip cut there. Scrappy barked out a laugh. "Looks like you've got your own mess to deal with." For the first time that night, Jock's smirk faltered. "That's out of context." Kendra stepped in, her voice suddenly steadier. "So maybe we isn't just after me. Maybe they are after all of us." It was the first time all three of them seemed to recognize they were in the same fight. But the moment didn't bring unity, it only made the room colder. The crowd outside the building, which had been murmuring for hours, was now loud enough to seep through the walls. Team Jock chants battled with Where's Kendra? The producers looked uneasy, but the cameras kept rolling. Every second of this was gold and poison. Jock paced in a tight circle, his voice low but cutting. "This ain't no random gossip blog. Whoever we is, they are getting stuff from inside. That means someone we work with is feeding them." Scrappy's reply was ice cold. "So which one of y'all's been smiling in my face while stabbing me in the back?" Kendra's head jerked toward him. "Don't you dare put this on me." "I'm putting it on everybody," he shot back. "If they've got footage from inside my house, that means someone had access. And I don't let just anyone through that door." The set doors slammed open and an assistant producer rushed in, breathless. "You need to see this. Now." They hurried to the production office where a laptop sat open to a live stream from LHH Insider T. The angle was immediately recognizable. It was inside one of their green rooms. The clip showed Kendra pacing on a phone call. The audio was scratchy, but her voice was clear enough. "Enough. Don't send that clip yet. I need more time. Jock's already suspicious." Her face was drained of color before the feed even ended. "That's edited," she stammered. "It's not what I said." But Jock's eyes were fire. "So you've been talking to them. Feeding them." "I wasn't, save it," he snapped. "You picked the wrong day to play me." Scrappy slammed his palm on the desk, the sound jolting the room. "That clip doesn't prove anything. Could be chopped up from any footage." Jock sneered. "Oh, so now you're defending her? That says a lot." Before it could spiral further, the live stream abruptly cut to a still image, a selfie taken in the very production office they were standing in. The caption read, "We see you. We're closer than you think. Next drop, the hotel tape." The words sucked the oxygen out of the room. "Hotel tape," Scrappy repeated, his voice slow and heavy. Jock's face paled. "I know what they're talking about." Kendra's eyes darted between them. "What do you mean?" But Jock wasn't looking at her. He was staring directly at Scrappy. "That night after the reunion taping. You weren't alone, were you?" Scrappy's nostrils flared. "Careful." Jock took a step closer. "Tell her, or I will." Before either could speak, the assistant producer's walkie-talkie crackled. They just dropped a teaser. "Sending it now." The clip downloaded onto Jock's phone, the thumbnail alone making everyone's stomach drop. A dimly lit hotel room. 2 figures on a bed. One was unmistakably Scrappy. The other was hidden in shadow. "Who is that?" Kendra's voice was barely a whisper. Scrappy didn't answer. Jock smirked, but it wasn't joy. It was the grim satisfaction of knowing the next blow was about to land. The production office felt like it had shrunk, every person inside pressed in by the weight of what was about to be exposed.
The thumbnail of the hotel clip sat frozen on the screen, daring someone to hit play.